What's up, everybody? I did a video on my Ryft, climbing a hill, put your onboard on the inside. You guys can see, obviously, I mean, that's the GoPro setup right there on the inside, just in case you're wondering. But yes, the transmission gear did slip. And I took this apart once and thought I fixed the problem, but I didn't use Loctite on the Woodruff screw of the primary gear coming off the motor on this thing. So I'm gonna have to pull it apart again. As far as overall review, aside from that, this thing is pretty durable. It really is. I mean, she tumbled quite a bit down some mountainsides and stuff like that, and over some rocks and everything is totally fine on it, minus the fact that I got to take it all the way apart. So I figured this second time I have to do it, I might as well make a video, right? So it's pretty simple. There is some things that they don't tell you. I mean, I watched a couple of videos and guys don't actually point out all the screws that I remember, because they say you got to take the 4 loose down here and then you're good to go. But in all honesty, I'm taking my cotter pins out so I can get the battery out of this and show you. You've got 2 screws in here in the battery compartment that have to come out, and they're on that primary plate. So with this, they give you a nice little Velcro strap for your battery, which is really, really awesome. But as you can see, there's those 2 screws right there, right in there. They got to come out. The 4 on this side, the 4 on the other side, and then you have to unbolt all of your shocks from the tower mounts. And then you can lift this cage right off without having any issues. For what I have to do, the cage has to come completely off. Depending on what you're doing, you can just unbolt, you know, all the 10 that you need and the 2 front shocks, and you can lift and access anything in the front. Like if you're doing axle changes and stuff, totally different thing. You don't even need to take this off. But for what I'm doing, it's got to come off. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing apart. And then once I do, I'll show you what's going on and the problem I was having with the internal gear. If you really want to know how to take one of these apart, a lot of people got a lot of other videos. Just remember, there's 10, not 8. There's 10 and 2, okay? Kind of like when you're driving. But anyway, let me get this done and I'll show you the issue that I had. And just in case you guys are wondering about tools, there you go, okay? Now this one I got at Radio Shack. It's sold by Horizon Hobby. There's another company called Traxxas that sells the kit. They're pretty much identical. They're made for all RC vehicles that are a 110 scale. The only difference really between the 2 kits is the one sold by Horizon has a nice screwdriver where you can roll it in your fingers. The Traxxas has a bigger handle, but it's also got deeper grooves, so you do get that little thump 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 when you try and roll it in your fingers like that. So I went ahead and went with the Horizon Hobby. But this has got everything. It's got your Phillips heads, your flat heads, your wrenches, all of your nut drivers for your axle nuts and different things like that, all of your Allens for everything. So yeah, make sure you guys get a kit if you're gonna have an RC, especially one that's a hobby RC, because you can replace almost everything on them. You always want to make sure you got the right tools when you're working on stuff like this. I have to pull the transmission out of this one, so I've got to take loose all 6 of these on the bottom as well. But that's after I get the cage off. So I just figured I'd mention that real quick. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So once you get done with that, it's pretty much ready to take apart. Little itty bitty magnet trays help out a whole bunch when you're working on stuff like this. Make sure you don't, confuse your screws. I put transmission screws on this side, all body screws on this side. It's easy to tell the 4 or the 8 on the sides apart from the one in the battery compartment, because the ones in the battery compartment have a flat head on them, and the body mounts have more of a rounded head for the Allen wrench. But once you get done with all that, you basically could just take your top off just like that. And this is a great time to wash it, take it apart, do any custom painting, anything like that. Great time to be able to do that to this entire cage. And then once that's out of the way, you've got your transmission right here. So I'm going to change the camera angle and show you what the problem is on the inside of that once I take it apart. You still have to uncouple the drive shafts, so you know there's still a little bit more involved, but I figured I'd just show you this real quick. So basically what you're at this point, what I found my problem was last time, I've already pulled this loose, so I just haven't pulled the wiring. But inside this cover right here, this gear actually right here, because that's the one that comes off the motor right here, has a little bitty Allen on it, and that's what's stripped out. So all I got to do is just take this loose and then undo these 3 screws, and I can pull it off and double check it. These are slip joint drive shafts, so it's a spline gear that goes in there. It's plastic, so when you lift the transmission out, you lift the whole thing up and they pop right out. Putting it back in, take your time. All right, so yeah, this little guy right here, okay, this is what's responsible for all of a sudden not having any drive power whatsoever. And right in here, right there, you can see it in the camera, there's that little itty bitty Woodruff Allen lock. So, and it happens to take the same size. So this is, or actually it's one size smaller. I forgot about that. This is the only one that's smaller than the Allen wrench you need to take the whole thing apart. But I'm going to pull that out, back it out, clean this up a whole bunch, and put some Loctite on it, tighten it back down, let it sit for a couple of days, and then hopefully that does a trick. But in the meantime, I'm going to pull the camera off and show you the inside of this case, just so you can get a really good idea. It's literally only 2 gears. And by the way, if you want to paint your transmission in any way, this is a good time to do it too. So I might just do that. But anyway, I'm going to put this back on the motor shaft, and then I'll flip the camera around and show you exactly what I'm talking about. So you can see what I'm talking about. Now, I put blue and tacky grease in this because I didn't want to put oil in it, because I don't know how good of a seal it is right here. So I packed this full of grease the last time I took it apart. You really don't have to actually do your battery on-off switch. You can unscrew this with it still mounted. But like I said, unscrew that on-off switch and paint this cover while it's off if you want to paint it. But I'll zoom in right here. And that is my primary gear set. And this is the gear that is giving me the hard time. As you can see, once I link in, it goes to the rest of the transmission. So just to double check, to make sure nothing else is busted, what you do is you take this off, and then you hold your drive shaft, and you go to spin and see if there's any play in there, aside from a little tiny click click, where you have any other gears in the transmission that aren't grabbing correctly. And if you don't have anything that doesn't slip or anything significantly, you're good to go. When it comes to these gears, they're all metal, okay? The pinion has metal gearing in it. The transmission has metal gearing in it. So, I mean, you can buy all different pinion gears and all different gear ratios and a whole bunch of stuff like that. But just one of the comfort factors of having this is that at least the gears are metal. Okay, so you don't have to worry about severely stripping out the teeth unless you're like severely neglecting your machine. There's one other thing I forgot to tell you guys too. If you haven't noticed, I did put a trash bag down, okay? I don't have a workbench big enough for this thing, and in order to be able to make this video at my desk, I had to improvise. So I put a trash bag on my seat so that I don't get grease and dirt and a whole bunch of stuff on my seat. Okay, so if it wasn't self-explanatory, there you go. If you're going to get a hobby, and you're going to get a hobby like this, don't make a mess unless it's outside. Seriously. I mean, you don't want to be living with like grease stains everywhere and dirt and everything else. Ugh. So that's basically it with diagnosing. The reason I made this video is because I didn't see a video that I had watched about transmission issues with the axial ryft RBX10 that specifically talked about that gear, okay? Pinions, stuff like that, yeah, not enough oil, whatever the case may be, yeah. But I didn't actually find something where somebody was actually spooling out a gear. So I figured I'd add this, all right? I'll let you guys know when it's back together. It'll probably be in another video because I might do some painting. I don't know what I want to do, but I want to go ahead and just get this one launched for you guys. Because if you could buy one of these, take it apart. Take it apart, double check everything before you even run it, okay? Go get your oils, go get everything you need. For gear oil, the book recommends a 1 million weight. For shock oil, it's a little bit different. I didn't get shock oil. The shocks are brand new. I'll worry about that some other time. By the time they blow out, I'll probably be replacing them anyway. So if you found any of this helpful, leave a like on it. Share it with a friend. Hit that subscribe button if you're interested. And don't forget your notification bell, all right? I'll see you guys later. I got some work to do. And just in case you're wondering how to clean this to make sure it's totally clean, to be able to apply a Loctite to that Woodruff screw, you're basically going to want to take your screw out and then soak the entire part in a solvent. Any type of automotive solvent. I mean, you can even use WD-40. Don't lose this tiny little piece. Otherwise, you either got to go to the hardware store or call Axial and have them give you a new one. So don't lose that. And cut a water bottle, put your solvent in there, and just kind of whoosh it around a little bit. It'll clean your part out really, really nice, all right? You let it soak in there if you want. It just depends on how dirty it is. Transmission did have a little bit of grease in it. I just added more. So regardless of whether it's brand new out of the box or you maintenance it once before, you're still gonna have to clean it. Out of the box, you'll have to clean it, you know, because like I said, they grease it, but from what I've seen, they don't do that great of a job. So I figured I'd just take care of it. And since I just got off work and I'm already dirty, I might as well just fix my RC. You know what I mean? You gotta have some fun, man. You gotta get hobbies. Hobbies you truly enjoy. That's why I bought this. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Anyway, I'll do a review on this later. I am gonna basically touch base on one thing real quick though. I did notice that a lot of people, when they were talking about the manuals, they didn't notice this. It does have exploded diagrams, and one of the biggest things that nobody had checked up on that I don't think they covered again, I really didn't pay attention, full-blown parts list. Every standard part, every recommended part, and every upgrade part, all in the manual, all right? So at least they don't leave you high and dry. That's a bonus. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next video when I take this thing out ripping again. In the meantime, I got some other videos on the way or about work.